tired of everybody coming on this fucking app with their opinions, with their thoughts, with their conspiracies of what they think may have happened to my friend. It's clear as day that this man murdered and killed my friend. He tried to stage it as a suicide. Let's put that on the floor. Number one, Ashlee would never harm herself. Ashlee was beautiful, happy, talented, hardworking. She had no reason to. I was just speaking to her and I have the messages of while she was on this trip. Number two.
Yo, the Ashlee Jenae situation has the entire internet split completely down the middle right now. On one side, you've got people who are screaming for justice and are not willing to budge one single inch on that position. But then on the other side, and listen to this, there are people who 100% believe that what happened to Ashlee was something she walked herself straight into. Because long before she ever boarded that plane for her trip, people were reportedly flooding her comments with warnings, telling her point blank to stay far away from Joe McCann. And instead of taking even 1 second to consider what they were saying, Ashlee clapped back and told every single one of them they were just jealous of her new relationship. Now hold up, because with Ashlee's second Instagram page surfacing and exposing her as a sugar baby, the internet has completely shifted into investigation mode. People are now digging deep into her lifestyle, her choices, and the complicated and messy dynamic she had built with Joe McCann. And what they're finding is raising a whole lot of questions that nobody seems to have clean answers to just yet.
I'm noticing that black men only speak on black women getting murdered when it's a white man doing it. Y'all kill us every day. Black women get strangled, stabbed, shot. But when it's a white man do it, that's when you say something.
Girl, it genuinely feels like every single day the internet is peeling back a brand new layer on who Ashlee Jenae really was underneath all that perfectly curated IG glamour. So just to make sure we're all caught up, Ashlee and her boyfriend Joe McCann, a crypto businessman, had traveled all the way to Zanzibar, Tanzania to celebrate her 31st birthday in style. As the trip went on, Joe got down on one knee and proposed, and Ashlee was so excited that she immediately called her family and friends to share the news. She even took it to social media to let the world celebrate with her. But hold up, because just a few hours after all of that joy, word started spreading that Ashlee was dead. And from that moment forward, nothing about this story was adding up the way it should. After she passed, Joe said absolutely nothing. Not a single tweet, not one statement, and quietly wiped every single photo from his entire Instagram page. People who knew Joe personally before any of this went down confirmed that he never once posted Ashlee on his own page, even though she had him plastered all over hers. And you won't believe this, the only personal posts Joe ever had up were pictures with his wife. On top of that bombshell, Ashlee's family came forward and revealed that Joe has not reached out to them even once, which then led them to launch a GoFundMe just to bring her body back home. But here's where it gets even more confusing. If Ashlee supposedly had no money, then how exactly was she out here flexing one of the most expensive lifestyles on Instagram? She and Joe were hopping on trips like it was nothing, and she was constantly showing off luxury clothes, designer gifts, and high-end everything. All of that on the grid, and apparently not a coin to her name in real life. So what is really going on here? Well, the internet started asking those exact questions out loud, and it did not take long at all before something started crawling its way to the surface.
How y'all doing?
Hey,
How y'all doing? You know, we keeping it organic, me and my little chocolate Easter bunny. Babe, stop playing. Babe, you know I'm sensitive, babe. We about to get in a lick. This her car. She probably put. She just came for to pick me up.
Something like, not too crazy.
She from Philly, so you know she crazy. She toxic. She might stab.
Toxic.
You might stab me in my sleep.
I'm not
You
toxic.
told me if I take my hands off, you gonna beat me up.
Because I'm good with my hands.
Because Ashlee was not just some regular influencer living her best life in Miami. She was reportedly a well-known bottle girl and video vixen with deep connections to entertainers throughout the city. And then, somebody who personally knew her decided they were done staying quiet and wrote, "Nobody's saying it, so I will." Ashlee may have been presenting herself as an influencer at this point, but everybody in Miami already knew she had been a stripper, and that Joe actually met her at a party where she was literally working the pole that same night. She danced in his section, and from that moment forward, the two of them had basically been traveling the world together, checking into luxury hotels and fighting in sight of them for the last year and a half. And hold up, because this wasn't even their first engagement, it was actually their second. On top of that, this was also not the first time police had been called to break up one of their explosive arguments either. Now here's where Joe's character gets put completely under the microscope. He is currently the subject of an active financial crime investigation, caught reporting profits from investments that had actually been operating at a loss for years. He's rich, he's shady, he's older, and the power imbalance between him and Ashlee was massive. And in this person's opinion, that imbalance was not accidental. It was the whole point. Nobody truly knows what happened that night in Zanzibar. May Ashlee rest in peace, and may her family find every single truth they deserve. But according to this source, this situation was 100% a sugar baby arrangement on absolute steroids, and they made clear they weren't just speculating. They knew both of them personally, with plenty of mutual friends to back it up.
Ashlee was also a prominent and vocal face within the divestment community and was very openly passionate about dating outside her race as a pathway to building a better life for herself. She had tweets out there saying the same men tearing down black women were the same ones calling her a traitor for choosing to date a white man. And she had apparently been vocal since the 3rd grade about wanting mixed-race children one day. When she stepped into her relationship with Joe McCann publicly, Ashlee made it crystal clear that she was elevating her standards across the board, emotionally, financially, and in terms of lifestyle, because she was done entertaining anything that wasn't actively serving her growth and her future. By plastering pictures with this high-profile crypto CEO all over her page, Ashlee made it look to the world like she had cracked the code and won the game entirely. However, according to her critics, the road she took to get there was about as messy and complicated as a situation could be. Because while Ashlee was out here branding herself as a lifestyle influencer and occasional video vixen on her main page, she was simultaneously running a completely separate Instagram account where she was openly advertising her sugar baby services to potential clients. It was actually through that second page that Ashlee and Joe first connected digitally before they eventually linked up face-to-face at that party. Joe and Ashlee then went public with their relationship around November of 2025, marking what they called their first anniversary together.
You know what really made me sad? And I don't know whether you caught it. I've been looking for it, but I know as fact because I took some pictures from that page. Ashlee had another Instagram page. It's been taken down. Somebody has taken down that second Instagram page. Why? Because you see, there's an old saying, when you start to throw water, if you throw water at a wall, it goes in every direction, not just one direction. Which means that as we are going to expose Joe for who and what he is, it's also unfortunately going to expose Ashlee for what she was doing.
And what makes this whole thing even wilder is that around that same time, they supposedly were celebrating their anniversary, and Joe was out here publicly talking about his wife and his young kids like everything was perfectly fine at home. So that raises a question nobody seems to want to answer directly. Does this mean Joe and Ashlee were already seeing each other while he was still a married man? And if Joe was genuinely out here playing the role of devoted husband and family man until recently, did he somehow manage to get a lightning fast divorce in between? Or, and hold up because this one is heavy, was Joe technically still a married man when he got down on one knee and proposed to Ashlee in Zanzibar? Word started circulating that Ashlee was never really Joe's fiancée in the traditional sense of the word, and that the whole proposal may have been nothing more than a performance staged entirely for appearances. Because ever since the two of them connected, Joe had been checking every box on Ashlee's soft life wish list, funding her dreams and flying her around the globe without hesitation. The only problem, and it was a massive one, was that Joe became increasingly aggressive as time went on, and the two of them were apparently fighting almost every single time they were in the same space together.
You won't believe this. One of Ashlee's close friends actually came forward and confirmed that the blow-up at the villa was absolutely not the first time things had gotten physical in public between them, stating directly, this is also not the first time he did something of this nature to Ashlee. Joe, you are going to rot in jail. But for whatever complicated reasons, Ashlee kept staying in that situation until it ultimately escalated to the unthinkable. And one thing her friends are making absolutely clear right now is they are not about to sit back and let anyone push a narrative that reduces Ashlee to just being an escort without a fight.
Her since about 2021 to 2022. Everything that everybody's saying couldn't be further from the truth of who she was as a person. And it's bad enough finding out and having this be the way that I found out about Ashlee and everything that she's been through. But it's almost traumatizing to see how people talk about her in the midst of this devastating loss.
And to back all of that up, her friends came through with actual text messages proving that the engagement was completely real and that Ashlee was genuinely excited and looking forward to building a future with Joe. This was not a game to her. On top of that, Joe Budden let something slip that nobody was expecting, revealing that he personally knew Ashlee and was genuinely caught off guard when he found out she was already doing school runs with Joe's kids at a point when their relationship was still brand new.
None of the romantic choices. But if that's your homegirl and you love her and they vouch for that person, Ashlee and homeboy was at my birthday dinner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They were at my birthday dinner. And I invited Ashlee the last 2 years to my birthday dinner. So this year I made it a point to get on the phone like, yo, this is the year. What's up? You gonna make it? And she was on some shit like, yeah, you know, just gotta check with my man. And I know we gotta drop off the stepkids and we gotta pick them up from school and they on spring break and this. And I'm on the phone like, girl, for real? Like, yo, like, you playing stepmommy over there.
And as you can already imagine, people across the internet have an enormous amount to say about all of it. The growing demand right now is clear. Zuri Zanzibar needs to release the full CCTV footage from everything that happened that night, leading up to Ashlee Jenae's death, because the people are asking for complete and total transparency, and they are not backing down. And what makes this entire thing even harder to sit with is that her very last post on social media was literally a video of her feeding a giraffe in Zanzibar with the words HBD Ashlee spelled out beautifully in rose petals right at her feet. That was April 5th, and just days after that moment of pure joy, she was gone. Nobody saw that coming, nobody was prepared for it, and nobody should have had to be. Ashlee Jenae deserved to live her life fully and completely. But what's truly heartbreaking is that the very community she celebrated, uplifted, and chose to invest herself in has been almost completely silent when it comes to advocating for her justice in death.
Her friends also stepped up to clarify that Ashlee was actually a businesswoman running a thriving hair care brand, and that this was the real engine behind her soft lifestyle, not what the internet was claiming. However, and this is where it gets interesting, nobody has been able to locate a single business page on any social media platform connected to Ashlee's brand. And it's really hard to believe she was running an entire operation completely offline in this day and age. For her friends, though, every single one of these escort allegations is nothing more than a cheap and calculated attack on a woman who can no longer defend herself. And even if every word of what's being said turned out to be true, it does not change one single fact. A young woman got on a plane to celebrate her birthday and never made it back home. It does not matter whether Ashlee was a businesswoman, a lifestyle influencer, an escort, or whatever else the internet decides to label her today. Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, deserves to meet an end like this.